And if they do, they're going to get a home playoff game. As it stands right now, it would be Seattle again.
Right.
And what if this time they don't beat Russell Wilson and company? What if they get embarrassed by Russell Wilson and company in a get-back game, a get-even game? And Jason Garrett survives because they, quote unquote, made the playoffs by backing into the division.
Do you believe Garrett can keep his job if he doesn't get to the NFC Championship game or at least the Super Bowl?
Well, all I know for sure is he has to at least make the playoffs.
Okay.
I think if he does, it's going to be hard because Jerry still loves him like a son.
No.
And I think Jerry would rationalize it.
You know what Jerry loves.
But I think yesterday was about 3 developments to me. And the first one was Ian Rappaport's NFL Network report of yesterday afternoon, or yesterday morning, actually, that basically said that people close to Jason Garrett are saying that if he does get fired, that he has his eye on the division rival New York Football Giants. And trust me, I know Jerry real well, and that report would stick in Jerry's craw.
Yep.
Oh, so on the verge of our biggest game of the year at New England, a story is out there about you got your eye on the Giants?
Yeah.
That would rub Jerry the wrong way. That's why he turned up the heat.
Did it rub him the wrong way at the combine? Did he say he wasn't going to give Jason Garrett a contract extension?
Well,
did that rub him the wrong way?
Well, good.
Actions have consequences.
Good. I like it. So I also think that Jerry is now seeing the light on Jason's biggest flaw, and that is his inability to motivate his football team. What happened again yesterday for the 8th time in 11 games? Help me out here. They fell behind from the get-go. That's what they always do. They fall behind. They don't take it to the team except for the Eagles in that one big Sunday night home game. That's the only time they really took it to what looked like at the time a good football team. So I think Jerry decided, circumstances are getting a little dire here. We have to get ready in 3 days for Buffalo. Buffalo's a good football team, especially on defense. They're a good football. Where are they up to? 8-3 now?
Yeah.
And little Cole Beasley had 6 catches for 76 yards. Trust me, he's going to come back with a vengeance.
And Josh Allen played well yesterday.
He played very well, and he seems to be getting a little better. And we know he can run it if he can't throw it.
I was about to say, Skip, he's way, because you look at a kid that size, you don't think.
Okay,
so you don't think he'd be mobile.
Okay, but again, dangerous opponent on Thanksgiving Day, even though Cowboys usually play pretty well on Thanksgiving. But in this case, I think Jerry finally said, I got to light a fire in the locker room that my coach cannot.
Okay.
And then what did he see yesterday from Bill Belichick's coaching staff that he didn't see from his? He saw a whole bunch of things. He saw a blocked punt. He saw 3 kickoff returns in which New England was kicking into the wind, in which Tony Pollard camped back on the goal line, and all 3 fell on the 15 to 20-yard line. Well, it's just stupid. And Troy Aikman said, way to go, Troy, on Fox. That's just poor coaching. Yeah. Because it just is.
Yeah.
And he also said...
In a situation like that, you put your heels on the 10.
Yeah, come on.
If it goes over your head, it's in the end zone, you're down it.
You can't...
But you can't let the ball hit the...
Yeah. It's the old Cowboy draft pick who's 35 years old.
You don't have that kind of leg.
Although I think the other kid, now that I think about it, he kicked off.
Bailey.
The other kid kicked off. But whatever. The point is that in the end, they had back-to-back penalties on a punt because New England buffaloed them by the way they lined up on the punt. Remember?
Right.
They didn't put anybody back. And all of a sudden they got to delay a game because they didn't know how to respond to it. And then they got a motion, and they get pushed back, and that set up the block punt. Well, Jerry said up there, he's not stupid. He was all Southwest Conference as a guard at Arkansas. And he's like, this looks like poor coaching versus the best coaching.
Right.
So then he said, you know what? I'm taking the gloves off in the post game. I'm going to let him have it. And he did.
Yeah. The man said that when you come here, you already expect to get out coach. How the hell that make your coach feel? That's like
he should.
Hold on. If I'm a player and my coach say, yeah, we're going to New England, but we already expect to get outplayed. What the hell are we going for then? If that was the case, why didn't you go ahead and remove him? Because, see, Jerry, all of this is on Jerry. Now, we can make it about Jason Garrett because he's the head coach, and people want to put that, but this is about Jerry. Because what Jerry wants is power. Jerry, can you imagine Miss Benson, Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints, saying something like this about Sean Payton? Can you imagine the Rooneys, who've been in coaching a lot longer, ownership a lot longer than Jerry, saying something about this, about Mike Tomlin? You see, what Jerry wants is power. Jerry wants the ability to go and come and talk however he wants to, when he wants to. but there are ramifications for that. You got to get a guy that's willing to swallow his pride and ego. And the one thing I know about great players, great coaches, great anything, they got hella pride. They got hella ego. And you think Sean Payton would go for that, Skip Bayless? Honestly, you know Sean Payton. You know not one time would he go for this.
He would be on the warpath. He might not do it publicly, but he would do it privately.
Interesting.
And that's Jerry's problem, Skip. You can't keep saying, it started last year in Houston. Oh, he should have went for it on 4th down. And now every time you turn around, Jason Garrett is going against his coaching philosophy, going for it on 4th down, because he knows no matter what happens, if they don't win the game, he's going to get second guess to high heaven. Jerry Jones is responsible for the mess that the Cowboys are in because all he does is undermine his head coach. His head coach is nothing but a figurehead. All he has the ability to do. You call him Coach Clapp because that's all Jerry has allowed him to do. He won't let him coach. And I agree with what he said now. Skip, the thing is with special teams, having been a special teams player, is that teams do not spend the emphasis like they do offense and defense.
Okay.
But in a game like this, and in most games, Skip, even if you score a touchdown, what do you have to do? You have to come out and kick the PAT. That's special teams.
Sure.
You got to kick off. That's special teams. If you hold them on 3rd down, you got to receive the punt. You're going to have to punt. So special teams is going to play a bigger part than what people put the emphasis on in practice.
Yeah.
Coach Belichick.
Well, Jimmy Johnson always told me it's exactly 1/3 of the equation.
Exactly.
1/3 offense, 1/3 defense, 1/3 special.
And on a game of this magnitude, you say, you know what? If we play this thing close to the vest, we don't turn it over, they don't turn it over. How can we steal field position? And Coach Belichick was smart enough to know. Now, on one of them, I can't even pronounce his last name, but 49 fooled him, Skip. He came up and pretended like he was going to catch it and then pulls his hands away. Tony Pollard like, what the hell are you doing?
Remember that.
I don't know what he was doing there in the first place.
But Skip,
Odell Wally.
in a situation like that, because it ended up winning us a game, AFC Championship game, Skip, we kicked off against the Jets. The ball hung up in the wind, and they let it hit the dirt, and we dove on it. And the next thing you know, we go on to score like 21 straight points. And they kick it into the wind. He doesn't have that kind of leg. You actually think, against the wind, Skip, the wind's blowing 10, 15 miles an hour. Do you actually think that guy has that kind of leg? Put it on the 10, get your feet on the 10, because it's easier to come up than go back. So you can come up 10 yards. But you in the end zone and you got to try to run up 20 yards?
Especially after the first one, but it happened 3 times, and all 3 were near disasters. So they were lucky that they survived.
Who's the special team coach? Jason Garrett, homeboy? Because he don't know what the hell he's doing. He should have told him.
Yeah, but that's on Jason Garrett in the end. That's where you're watching, you're overseeing, you say, hey, stop. You up here. That's from you. It's the head coach.
That's the special. I don't know. It could have happened. I mean, but I can't remember Mike telling the special teams guys to do anything. He's like, okay, we need to stop. Let's pin them down, something like that. But where to stand and where to field the ball, that's understood. Okay, you kick the ball one time into the wind, and it lands at the 15. Why the hell am I going to go back to the goal line, Skip?
Okay.
I'm going to come up to the 10 or the 15-yard line so I can field it, because at worst case scenario, Skip, what can I do? I can fair catch a kickoff.
You can.
So now you get the ball. If it hangs up there, they can't do anything to you. The worst thing you can let happen, Skip, is let that ball in wet, windy conditions hit the ground. That ball's going everywhere. And so now what you could have got the ball at the 20, 25, you're getting the ball at the 10-yard line.
Yep.
Now, try going the distance, 90, 85, 90
That's
yards.
what kept happening. That's what kept happening.
And Coach Belichick knows that.
So what was Jerry's bottom line takeaway? Our roster is better than they're playing. So that's the shot at the coaching staff. Well, what does he think he's responsible for, putting the roster together? Right. So he's saying, I did my part. Now my coaches got to do their part.
But like you said, Skip Bayless, now you said the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, they get to call the plays, but the head coach gets to say, run or pass. He can say, okay, bring the blitz or play coverage. If I'm the owner, what do I get to say?
Well, I know what he said once upon a time back in 1990 to Vanity Fair magazine. I could coach the you-know-what out of this team. He said that.
Yeah.
He believes
the great Frank DeFord. That's a quote-unquote. I could coach the you-know-what. And he probably still believes he could coach the you-know-what.
But here's the thing, Skip. He gets to get all the credit when things go well, but when you coach, when things go bad, who get the blame?
Okay.
The coach.
All right. So remarks like that from on high will serve to send this team north or south. It's either going to detonate the locker room in a good way or a bad way. because you only, as you well know, you got 3 days to get ready. At least you're at home. You don't have to travel.
3
But you
days.
better get yourself psychologically and emotionally ready for the Buffalo Bills, because they will come in serious
Quick
business.
turnaround. Ed Werder from ESPN is reporting that despite Jerry's, frustration, no changes will be made to the coaching staff.
No, I'm not surprised.
You mean the rest of the year?
Yeah, right now, they're not going to make any changes, which
Oh, no, I don't think
I don't
it's
think they
surprising.
would, but that's what he's saying this morning. So, but he was pretty upset. Maybe it'll fuel them. Maybe it'll go in a different direction.
He wasn't upset enough
according
not to
Skip.
start Medley. Was he that upset, Skip?
Nope.
Exactly.
Maybe he should coach Thursday. I don't know.
Whatever.
Jerry, he probably would enjoy that
He would.
Thanksgiving Day. We got to talk about a different guy, Carson Wentz. Shannon, have you been watching him lately?
Don't
Because I know
know
you
who they do.
enjoy when the Cowboys lose. When Carson Wentz is this bad, is he costing the Eagles a chance at the playoffs? That is next.
While America celebrated the fall of Prohibition,